Hey, it's Lakeisha with Imperial Apparel and Customs. Welcome back. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm in my sweats right now because I work from home and I don't have to get fancy, so it's cool. One of the perks of a home shop. I mean, obviously, you don't want to wear anything too fancy anyway, in case you get something on it, right? But I also work my day job from home. Anyway, I'm here today because I want to talk to you about combo heat presses and why you shouldn't buy them. So, here is my very first heat press that I got. I actually got it off of Amazon. I don't know. I think it's called Royal Press. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. It doesn't matter because I'm going to tell you why it's a terrible idea. It doesn't matter. It's a terrible idea. I'm going to tell you why. So, back when I was first considering screen printing, like most people, I was kind of like, well, I don't want to drop a whole lot of money if it turns out to be something that I didn't like or didn't want to do, So, I was like, okay, well, let me just look around on Google and search heat presses. And, I had a budget set in my mind for about maybe 150. Not realizing, of course, I'm going to have to drop a lot more money than that. I didn't know. Like I said, I didn't know what I was looking for. I didn't know what was considered good at the time. But I was just trying to keep everything low because I wanted to get as much as possible. So this was my very first purchase. And I was told that you can start with just a heat press and a printer and some dark and light color transfers. So I found this on Amazon, and this is a 5-in-1. It does plates, so it has this size and this size. This is a little bigger than this one. These are supposed to be plate presses, which I don't know why on earth you would need to press a plate, but I don't know. And it came with a mug press over here, there, and it also came with a hat press, which is on the floor right there. And it also came with your usual normal platen, like flat, that matches the size of this bottom piece right here. So when I got it, I was like super duper excited. I was like, okay, I can do 5-in-1. It cost me about $270 with shipping. So, I was like, yeah, this is a good idea. I can do 5 different things instead of one thing. Like, yes, efficiency, And I got my printer, which at the time was like a HP. The biggest I could do was like 8x11. I didn't know. So I thought I was set, and so I practiced with it. And, I did read somewhere like, you want to be careful with Amazon presses, like, especially if they're combo, because, they might not work. And I'm like, seems like it works to me. It gets hot, I didn't know. So down the road, after I've had it for a while, I kind of tested it out. I realized and learned that light color transfers weren't going to work. They definitely were not going to work. They were crap. And dark color transfers weren't really professional looking. So I ventured into HTV. And I learned that was probably what I need to be doing. So I worked with HTV on this for a while, and I thought, okay, I'm ready to get my first order. I already had a couple people at the time that were interested in getting t-shirts from me anyway. And one of them finally kind of just was like, hey, can you do this now? I need like 5 shirts done. Cool. So I was like, yeah, I've been working on it for a while. I've been practicing. I felt like kind of good about it. I was like, I think I feel confident enough to solve any problem, really, I think. I don't know. But I just wanted to do it. So I took her order. It was just like some regular like shirts from like Walmart or something. So I didn't use this, obviously. Her logo was, so this is like 9 by 11, I think. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's 11 by 14. So this is 11 by 14. Her design was almost too big. So it was like 10 inches wide. So I had little room for error, and at the time I didn't know how hot this thing got, how accurate it was. I didn't know if it had any cold spots. I knew absolutely nothing about this thing. But I was like, I spent $270 on it. That's good, right? It's fine. So I ended up pressing her shirts, which was with like craft vinyl that you can find at Michael's, or I guess I don't know if I don't think Hobby Lobby sells it, but you know, Michael's. I can't remember the brand though. Maybe no, never mind. I'm not even gonna mention it because I'm gonna lie. But one of those common craft ones, and just a white vinyl I put on her shirts, and I was struggling, y'all, like struggling. Like each shirt, no joke, took me like 45 minutes to actually get the vinyl to stick. Okay, like I'm not joking. And I thought it was just me. I was like, or maybe it was like the vinyl. I was like, what the heck? There's nothing wrong. This thing is getting hot. Like, you know, I'm pressing it. I'm increasing this is the pressure knob back here. I'm increasing it. And I mean, it's like pressing really hard. I held it longer. You know, I was just wrestling with this thing. But eventually I got her 5 shirts done. Okay. Now, mind you, before this, I didn't do a wash test to see if the vinyl would actually stay. I was just like, screw it, you know, willy-nilly, which was totally the wrong thing to do. So I gave her her shirts. She loved them. They looked great. I didn't feel great about them just because of like how much I was struggling to, you know, get the vinyl to adhere to the shirt and stay there. But she loved them. And so I reached out to her about, I don't know, probably 4 days later. And I was like, hey, I hope those shirts worked out. Because I was like really nervous. I was like, you know, I just didn't feel like they were going to stay on there if she washed them. Like whenever she washed them. I never heard back. So that was my answer. They came off. The vinyl just came off. And I felt so terrible. I was regretting taking her order. Like I kind of beat myself up over it. I was like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have done this. So what I later learned, much later, that like probably a year and a half later, I've had this thing for a minute. I eventually got, where did that go? Here it is on the floor for some reason. I eventually got a temperature gun because I learned when you get a heat press, you might want to like check the temperature and see if it's got any cold spots, see if it's heating evenly, you know, and working okay. And seeing what the discrepancy is between what the actual heating element is doing and what the screen is saying. So I decided I would just test all of the pieces that came with this thing. Here's the fun part, okay? So the regular piece that comes, like, that matches the size of this bottom platen, which I have in the cabinet over there, for a reason. I tested it, right? So usually I would leave it set at about 350, or no, I'm sorry, like 320 or whatever. Like the vinyl I was using was between like 315, 320, something like that. So I set it to that temperature. And so I let the big platen, or the big heating element heat up. And it was almost 100 degrees off, guys. Almost 100 degrees. So it was like heating up at like the hottest spot on there was like 220, 230. No, I'm sorry. It was about like 230, 240. So almost 100 degrees off. And so I was like, oh my gosh, no wonder it didn't stick. Like it wasn't even hot enough. It was insane. Like I couldn't believe it. So that one was a fail, which is why it's not attached to this. So I went ahead and tested the hat attachment down there that's on the floor. It's on the floor for a reason, because that one doesn't even work. It doesn't even work. Like I literally pressed one hat with it, and it stopped working. Just one hat and it was done. Like, and when I tested it, I sat there for a minute. I kind of wiggled the cord in it to make sure maybe, you know, if it was pinched, I can, you know, undo that. No, it just doesn't work at all. It printed one hat and it was done. So that was really disappointing. I was like, great, now I'm down like 2 pieces. Crap. And these two plate presses, you can't even see that. These two plate presses I got up here, when I tested the big one, it started smoking. No joke. Like it heated up and the temperature was actually pretty accurate. Like I had it at 320. It heated up to about 305, 310, which was much better than the original, the big piece, the big heating element. But it started smoking from like here and a little bit underneath here. So I was like worried, like, oh crap, like, am I gonna start a fire? I don't know if this is like, I had to keep an eye on it because I didn't know if it was gonna melt and catch on fire. I didn't know what was going on. I've never, seen this before. So I turned it off and I ended up turning it back on again. And it kind of smoked a little bit more and then it was done. But it held the temperature. I tested it all over and, for it being a piece of crap off of Amazon, it actually heats fairly evenly. So I was like, okay, I'll keep this one. This one that's on here already was actually the best performing piece out of everything, pretty much. This one I had no issues with. It didn't smoke. There was no uneven heating. No huge discrepancies, nothing. This one works perfectly, which is why it's attached. I've never used it for anything. I can't imagine using it for anything other than coasters, maybe mouse pads. I don't know. But at the end of the day, I have a way better heat press in the other room. Why am I going to use this one? I don't know. So it just sits here. And then last but not least, the mug press, which that is officially my mug press, and it does work. I tested that one. Now, the thing with this part here is I was expecting some major issues with it, but for the most part, it actually does pretty good. I've sublimated quite a few mugs with it. I don't have any to show you down here, I don't think. Oh, yes, I do. Here's one that I did of my old logo, and it's pretty good. Like, there's no super light parts. Hopefully that looks good to you guys, but yeah, it did pretty good with that. The only issue I have with this part is, as you can see, it's crooked, but that doesn't really introduce any huge problems. But there is a slight area right on the inside of this lip on this side only that doesn't heat up to the same temperature everything else does. So I'm like, okay, that's probably because, this cord's over here. It's heat, is pushing the heat this way. This is just farther away from the source. So that's something to keep in mind. So when I do mugs, I have to just put it more on this side of it and just have it stay away from this edge, because I have had a mug before I realized what was going on that did come out lighter on the bottom, and that was because it was sitting in that strip, that cold spot right there. So yeah. So after testing all these parts with the temp gun, like I was supposed to do in the first place, I realized it was just a bad investment and I would never do it again. I wouldn't even recommend it. I know that there's higher end ones. I know they sell some at Heat Press Nation, like the HPN series. I think they have some combo heat press there. I think they have a couple of them. I still wouldn't do it. But if you absolutely had to and you had no other choice, if that's what you really wanted, get it from, you have to spend some money. I think it was still, for those combo heat presses that I saw, they were still $700, and it comes with a couple extra attachments for the mug and stuff. So that's cool. But I still would recommend you just get just separate machines for everything. A separate, a hat press, that's just a hat press. Get your heat press, that's just a heat press. Get your mug press, that's just a mug press. It's just going to be easier. It's less of a headache. That way you're not going to experience this where, especially if you get it off of Amazon, it's cheap parts, and especially if you don't get it with a warranty, which honestly, I don't really think it matters because they never last long anyway. It's just not a good idea. It's not a good idea. I wouldn't recommend it. I was extremely disappointed when I found out that the reason my order failed wasn't really because of what I was doing, but because of my machine. and I basically had way too much hope in it. I put way too much faith in it, so yeah. So that is my video for today. And yeah, don't please avoid these like fire. It's just a setup. Like, don't do it. Don't do it. But anyways, yeah, I wanted to do this quick video for you guys. And I'm gonna try and get a video out in the next week. I don't know, because I'm not very good at editing. Still learning that. And I'm also dealing with some screen printing issues as well. And I'm preparing for an order to come in. So there's a lot going on right now. But yeah, just wanted to get this video out. I will catch you guys in another video. Peace out.